In this video, we're going to just practice using the rules and the formulas that we've been developing to evaluate a sum. So here we've got the sum as I goes from 1 to 500 of 2i plus 3. Now with 500 terms in that sum, it would be very tedious to write them out one at a time and do the arithmetic that way. But I can use my rules. Notice the terms that I'm adding have two parts to them. So I can break this apart into a sum of sums. I can say this is the sum as I goes from 1 to 500 of 2i, plus the sum as I goes from 1 to 500 of 3. Now in this second sum, we're adding up just a constant. We've got a formula for that. In this first sum, I can see we're just adding up some i's, but I've got that coefficient there of 2. Well, that's a constant multiple of I. I've got another rule that says I can factor out that constant. So I can say this is 2 times the sum as I goes from 1 to 500 of I, plus the sum as I goes from 1 to 500 of 3. So now each sum is of the type where I have a formula. The initial index in each case is 1. Here I'm just adding up consecutive integers so that my term is exactly the same as my index, and here I'm adding up a constant. So over here I'm going to get 2 times whatever this sum is. So I want to remember this. Now I could just memorize the formula, but I'm going to think through it. I'm going to pair off my terms, and if I have 500 terms, I'm going to have half as many pairs. So that would be 500 halves, pairs of terms. Each pair is going to have the same sum that I get if I add the very initial term, 1, to the very last term, 500, which would be 501. Okay. So that's basically using the formula that the sum as I goes from 1 to n of I is n times n plus 1 over 2. My n is 500, so n plus 1 is 501, and it's over 2. Okay. Here, we're just adding up a whole bunch of 3's. So it's 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. How many copies of 3 do we have? 500. So we're going to have 500 copies of 3, or 500 times 3. All right, let's simplify this. Here, my 2's will cancel. So I basically just need to multiply 501 by 500. So let's see, 501 times 500. That's going to give me 250,500. And let's see, I'm going to just bump to the top. 250,500 from this first term. 500 times 3 is going to be plus 1,500. So that's going to become 252,000. Excellent. All right. So that was not too complicated, but if we had tried to do it by just writing out the terms one at a time, we wouldn't even be a quarter of the way through it at this point. I'm going to let you folks try the next one. So let's say it's the sum. We'll let j go from 1 to 1,000, and let's try 4 minus 5j. Okay, so again, you've got a sum where each of the terms has two parts to it. Notice this time we're subtracting them rather than adding them, but the principle is going to be basically the same. So try this one, and then we'll go over it together in the next video.